Welcome to the Busy Fan. My name is Jake Wright, and I'm a busy fan. I created this show to solve one main problem in my life. I felt like whenever I was getting ready for the day, I'd turn on one of my favorite sports shows, and I'd love it, and I'd be getting ready and everything. The problem was, by the time I walked out the door, they didn't cover much. It was very opinionated, and it was more in-depth analysis on one major topic. And I love it, right? I love sports. I love getting down and knowing all of that information. But when I got to work that day, I may be talking about the one aspect that I learned, and somebody else will be talking about a different game that was on the night before or whatever. So I wanted to make a show that would cover everything that you need to know about what was going on in the sports world the day before in just 10 minutes. So that's what the Busy Fan is. It's for us busy fans who love sports, who want to stay up to date, but we just don't always have time. And so that's exactly what the Busy Fan is all about. I wanted to start by talking about what's going on in the world right now. This is the first episode. I've got more to cover than just what happened yesterday because we've got to get caught up on what's going on in the world. So let's break it down by sport. So we're going to start in the NBA. The NBA is planning to come back on July 30th in Orlando, Florida, at Disney World Resorts, right? So that's the plan. That's what everyone's been preparing for. And up to this point, there's been some concerns about the virus. How are we going to keep players safe? We talk about different testing, different ways to go about it. Players have come out with concerns about muscle fatigue, as they haven't used their muscles the way that they have in the past couple of years during this quarantine. It's been hard to maintain that. So talking about different insurances and things in order to make sure that the players don't have a season-ending or career-ending injury because of this. But some of the rules that the NBA has come up for this are kind of funny. First of all, in ping pong, no doubles allowed. You can only play one-on-one because it's okay to be, moving down on somebody in the post, I guess, and rubbing chest to chest, but it's not okay to be standing next to them in ping pong. So that's something that was pretty funny. And also when they golf, no caddies. Again, basketball is very, physical contact. There's a lot of that going on, but having a caddy handle your clubs is just over the line. It's something that the NBA will not allow. So those were kind of the concerns that were coming up. And then all the social injustice happened in the world. The George Floyd happened. People started talking about all of the various things that have been going on, and that changed everything. A few players spoke up and they said, hey, right now we have a voice. We can go out and we can make a difference. If we start playing again, people might stop listening to us. They might not hear what we're saying anymore because we're entertainers, right? Kyrie Irving was at the focal point of it. He, advised players, think about what you're doing before we go back and play. People are listening right now, but if we go back, we might just be entertainers to them and the world will just move on and these injustices that are happening might not be solved. Avery Bradley also came out about this issue in support of Kyrie Irving, but Avery brought specific changes he wants the NBA to make players feel more comfortable and knowing that the league is making a change. First, he wants more minorities in head coaching positions and back office positions within the league. He also wants the league to donate to organizations that are helping black communities, and he wants the league to partner with black-owned companies and in order to shore them up and make them stronger. And then Dwight Howard came out. Dwight has been an advocate for what Kyrie was saying, but Dwight came out and said, hey, just because I feel this way and we feel this way, we're not saying that everyone needs to feel this way. We all want these injustices to end and we want to make a change, but we have different ideas of how to do that right now. People like LeBron James and many players in the league want to come back because they believe coming back will give them a platform to speak and they'll be able to talk about these injustices and believe that a change will come that way. And Dwight's point was, if you think that, then do that. Don't let anybody doing what they feel is right stop you from you doing what you feel is right. I wanted to read this quote. He said, we are no longer slaves, so every man has a right to transparency to make a sound decision. So yeah, Dwight was saying everyone needs to do what they feel is right, and I'm not here to judge that. So now let's move on. That's all the drama that's going on in the NBA. That's why some people are deciding whether to sit out and some people are not. We're not like taking a stance on what they should do, just letting you know that's the conversation that's going on. So now to the MLB. The MLB has had a little back and forth as well. There have been times that the commissioner said 100% we're definitely going to have a season this year. Other times he's come out and said, well, I don't know if the season's actually going to happen. Um, but they just came back and they proposed a 60 game season that would pay players 100% of their prorated salaries. So take 180 games, whatever their salary was, figure out how much they make per game, multiply that by 60, they'd be paid that full amount for those 60 games, which is huge because before the last deal the MLB talked about, they were going to pay players only 70% per game of what they would have made before. So this is huge for the MLB. However, they changed it from the last one where they were making 70%, it was 72 games. Now it's only 60 games, so it's still less money for the players. There probably will be some pushback on that because they want to make more money. And then also because of this, I wanted to show you real fast. This is what the MLB looked like last year after 50 games. You can see the American League after 50 games and after at the end of the season, it looked the same. So it was fine in the American League, but in the National League, after 50 games, this is where everyone was at. The teams in the green here are the ones that ended up making the playoffs, and this golden team right here, the Washington Nationals, ended up winning the whole thing. So shortening the season in baseball, teams really like find a groove later in the season. And so that's a concern for many of the baseball purists that if you shorten the game to 60 games, or if you shorten the season to 60 games, it's going to throw off a ton, and we won't really have who would have won it if we played the whole thing out. Which, whether that matters or not, you can decide that for yourself. But that's what's being talked about. That's the proposal that's out right now, and that's what the MLB PA is deciding on whether they're okay with or not. Now to the NFL. The NFL, they've gone through this thing more seamless, I guess, because they weren't supposed to be playing right now. Just recently, Ezekiel Elliott, it was found out that he had the coronavirus, so that was big news for them. But they're still planning on starting on September 10th, which was their original date. The big news today was teams came out and said they would be interested in signing Colin Kaepernick again. The Chargers talked about it. They talked about how they have Tyrod Taylor right now and Justin Herbert, and Tyrod Taylor especially is a more of a dual threat. Justin Herbert could be he definitely could move around in college, but they felt like Colin Kaepernick fits into the system that they have in place. So they'd be willing to bring him in and try him out at least. And the Eagles also said they'd be interested in taking a look at him and seeing if he fit into their scheme. Finally, the NHL. The NHL is going to be the first of these major sports to be back. July 10th is when they'll start their training camps. So they're ready to go. The training camps, it's assumed, will probably last about 3 weeks, and then they'll get back into the season and the playoffs and be ready to go. And so no big hiccups there. Everything seems to be going as planned. We're just looking forward to getting some sports back. So that's what happened in the sports world to yesterday, and catching you up a little bit so you can talk to your friends and family about what's going on in all the leagues so you know where they're at. We'll keep you updated on all of it, let you know what things happen in different leagues, and make sure you can stay up to date. Thanks.